Hello, everyone, and welcome to another News Coolum video. And, I'm about to head out and do some testing for efficiency with Bjorn and a bunch of other Tesla owners with their Tesla Model 3s. And I guess we have an Ionic Electric along with it. Also, I just wanted to say a few things. Based on the weather forecast, we are going to have a headwind of about 15 miles an hour, possibly a front quartering wind. And this test already sort of favors the Model 3 because this is going to be a higher speed efficiency test, and 75 miles an hour is about the upper end of where you want to be cruising with the Bolt EV anyway, maybe 75 to 80 miles an hour. When you have a headwind or a front quartering wind, it's going to impact that efficiency even more. We are going to mitigate it a bit and also mitigate the elevation increase a bit by doing basically an A to B to A trip. So it will offset a little bit, but you never actually get all of that energy back. So this is good in terms of being a real world test. However, these efficiency numbers actually are going to be a little bit lower than if you were going to, say, do a track test or a flat ground test with no wind. Also, because I don't want anybody, to say that I'm gaming it or anything else, I went ahead and lowered my tire pressure below what I would normally have it. So it's down to about 38, 39 psi cold tire pressure, which is what it's rated or recommended to be by the door placard. It's fine. It just increases rolling resistance and increases tire wear, which is why I tend to run 40 to 42 psi cold. But anyway, I thought I would catalog this trip from the Bolt EV owner's perspective. For now, we're going to head up to Santa Clarita, and if we can, maybe charge up a bit before we have the test. All right, well, I'm here in Santa Clarita. I'm juicing up a bit. I was at 48% battery, which is not going to be enough to make that run. But yeah, I'm right next to a Hyundai Ionic, and I think they're part of the competition. So it's us against the world, buddy. We're all going to be trying to keep freeway speed now. I'm going to let one of them lead off. I'm turning the air conditioning on to 70. So it's 68 degrees outside. The rules are that we have the AC set at 70, but normally I would do recirculate maybe, but with this, under these conditions, what I would actually do is not be using the air conditioner at all. I would just be blowing air rather than trying to run the AC, because like I said, it's 68 degrees. You just need outside air to keep it nice and comfortable inside. But we'll go by these rules, right? So yeah, I did have my air pressure down to 38, but it jumped up a little bit, so it's a little bit higher than the placard, but that's probably because temperatures have gone up since I filled it up to 38, 39, and we do have a different elevation change, but this is mostly due to driving. I could try to fiddle with it more. I'm not going to get the air pressure to be more accurate or set than that, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm also not certain about what regen mode I'm going to run in. I mean, technically, I guess drive would be more efficient maybe on the return, but it's not necessarily how I normally drive, so I'm just going to keep things the way they are.
Hey everyone. Interesting. We just made a whole...
You're breaking up.
Shit. Yeah, let me reset.
This is maybe more than the SpaceX launch.
Yeah, let's go. And we're off like a herd of turtles.
I also don't have navigation up, which is what I would normally be doing. Just this already, climate control has started to increase to 2% of my energy consumption. So that's sort of not surprising, but I actually don't know whether recirculating air is more efficient or venting outside atmosphere. I've heard both. Yeah, I almost feel like maybe I should drive the other way because that's how I would drive normally, but we'll see.
Alright, 75 now.
At my 75, it looks like I'm going faster than the Tesla's 75. If I understand the speed that he's going. So for me, if he says he's doing 75 right now and I'm tracking him, my speedometer says 73. So this is actually really not that much different than the way I would normally drive this road. I'll be interested. Bjorn, I think, is live streaming, and so he uses an app called Glimpse. So he'll be able to tell whether or not we're actually going that speed based on GPS. Whereas for me right now, it seems like my speedometer might be reading about 1 to 2 miles an hour faster than his. So I'm going to let the Model 3 go by, I think. Yeah, he's too close to me right now. So we'll see if we can stabilize at speed. Yeah, I don't know where everybody else is, actually. So if he says he's doing, yeah, well, we'll figure it out. But that's why I said this is never going to be clean. Some people are going to, see whatever they want to see. That is beautiful, though. This is one of the great things about Fraser Park. So I wonder if they're bailing. Are they bailing? All right, we're only going to Gorman then. By the way, I mean, even though you're sort of on the top of a mountain, I actually think this is a great location for a DC fast charger. Just sort of a basic, a 50 kilowatt charger. Ooh, what? That's not. Is that Chatham only? Is that Chatham only? Mother. Sorry, I see a leaf charging and I say, is that Chatham only? But yeah, this is actually a pretty. What? Where are we going? Where? Why am I following him? What is he doing? Where are you going? Stop running away! What? Where are we? Why am I following you? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, that was 75 miles an hour. Oh. What? Why are we going this way? I'm confused. See, here's the problem. I'm blind right now and deaf because I'm using my phone to track Torque Pro. So I just have to follow the lead. But this I don't understand. This is not the route that we agreed upon. If they take the other route, then this screws the efficiency up. So at this point, I'm glad that I tracked average speed. So, because even this hard acceleration to get back on the freeway again, it's not going to do that. It's not going to set that average, right? So, and I believe this was, and now I can't see. Now I can't see. Where's he going? Oh, they're doing that route. All right, so yeah, this is frustrating. So now I have to watch and see if I can see them coming back, I suppose. Because but they should already be back on the freeway again. Oh, I see. This is where they intended to go. So it is a big loop. Whatever. I'm gonna circle back around. So basically, at this point, whatever. At this point, because of the detour and everything else, I mean, it actually is literally possible that I went from being the third car to the last car, depending if everybody else stayed on the freeway. So that's unfortunate. I mean, maybe they plugged the route in that way and everybody was driving that. So if that was the case, then okay, cool. But yeah, so now we're way behind, and we're gonna have to catch up. And we'll do the exact 120 kmh, I think. Yeah. 126 exit. We've taken enough wrong turns this trip. 181. Yeah, I mean, by the time, and this is going to be what's interesting, is I don't know how we're going to say, oh, we're not accounting for the on-ramps, off-ramps, getting to and from. Like I said, just looking at the average speed, we're up to almost 107 kilometers per hour. I'm gonna follow them because I think we're going to the supercharger. So whatever. Now you turn on your sirens? Really?
How's it going?
Good. I take you from the red light. So what happened?
Yes, I guess it was doing traffic-based routing, so we went off that little side road.
Right, but I was getting messages, I think, from like Alex or something, but I couldn't check them because I have my phone logging. So I don't. But we kept the route the way it was, right?
Yeah. Everything was the same.
So did they pass us then?
We actually I got back on the freeway right in the middle of them.
Okay.
So we were
So,
fine, yeah.
well, but I screwed up because I exited and had to get back on the freeway again.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see you, and I didn't know if you were doing the rest stop or the actual Lebec.
You went to Lebec though, right?
Yeah. No, but I went through the rest stop and then had to get back on the freeway and then take the loop.
Gotcha.
So I did end up behind all of you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think we might be in front of two cars, I think.
Oh, okay.
Which is the silver car and Bjorn.
Oh, Bjorn's in the back.
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Because I know where all the other cars are, and they're all in there right now.
Was your speedometer set at 75?
Yeah.
Okay, so Interesting. Well, we'll have to check on, because mine, if I had it set at 75, I was overtaking you guys.
Really? Okay.
I had to set it at 70. It's like somewhere between 73 and 74
Okay.
is matching. So
Because I was at 75, and all the other Teslas seem to be at the same as me, so I think they're all kind of synced.
okay, and if it's GPS, then all right, that makes sense. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you know what your efficiency is so far? Watt hours per mile?
I'd have to do a conversion. I have it on metric right now.
Spoil it.
All right, so we're here. Yeah, it should be an interesting thing. Like I said, my efficiency is going to be pretty bad, based just on the wind and yeah. But yeah, I think we definitely screwed up with that route. All right, so that was a fun little range and efficiency test. So I'm back here at my local charger. I have some grocery shopping to do, so I didn't want to bother recharging up there in Santa Clarita. I figured I'd do it out here. While I'm recharging, before I go into grab some groceries, I just wanted to do a quick recap of the efficiency test, what we saw, given the conditions, given sort of the haphazard nature of the test in real world conditions. It was never going to work out exactly as we planned, which is unfortunate because I think some of the efficiencies were close enough that we really would have wanted a more strict test, right? So for me, it's not really a surprise to see the Bolt EV come in at about 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour with mostly 75-mile-an-hour sustained driving. That's pretty much what I typically see, but over a wide range of weather patterns. So that wind, that 15-mile-an-hour wind, it did, I think, affect the efficiency a little bit, but it wasn't as bad as I was actually anticipating. Rather than having a headwind for most of it, it was mostly a crosswind. And when it did impact, it was mostly in the regenerative braking going back down the hill. So it didn't actually affect my driving efficiency as much as I think it really affected my regenerative braking efficiency. So it's a subtle difference, but it is a notable difference because I think the actual driving efficiency was fine. But the thing that obviously threw stuff off was the exiting. So that was part of my just being out of the loop and kind of following the leader. I thought what had happened was based on the Ionic. Maybe the Ionic owner didn't feel they were going to make it all the way to Lebec. So we went to the backup plan, which was going to be Gorman. But then we kept going, which was wrong. And then of course I exited at the rest stop because I thought that's where they were talking about exiting, and it wasn't. They were talking about the service road. So I had a couple extra starts and stops in there, which probably didn't help the efficiency that much. But I'll let that fade into the background. And then the other issue is because I wasn't able to stay with the pack because we got separated because of that miscommunication with routing. I wasn't able to use the Teslas to pace. I'll say this now because I'm already seeing people comment on my channel who they went in wanting to prove that the Bolt EV is less efficient in real life than it actually is. And so I'm sort of painted into a corner based on what I saw when I was keeping pace with the lead Teslas. Their 75-mile-an-hour speedometer reading is about 73 miles an hour on my speedometer reading. However, if I go sustain 75, it's closer to, I think, what their display would say is 77 miles per hour. So on the return, because I didn't have the Teslas to pace off of, I'm basically forced into going the 75 on my speedometer. Otherwise, of course, people are going to, cry foul and claim shenanigans. So, I mean, I don't know how much that would overall affect the efficiency, but I do believe it would be within the margin of error. And so also there's Eric, who was driving a Tesla Model 3, who also got routed that wrong route along with me. Well, luckily, one of the drivers that got the other route right was driving an identical Model 3 to him, and there was nearly a 5% difference in their efficiency, Eric's being worse. So that sort of validates my assumptions that having an extra start and stop and acceleration along that route doesn't actually help your efficiency at all. It's much better to go a straight, static, maintained speed because, people seem to forget this, but regenerative braking is not 100% efficient. So even in EVs, starting and stopping results in worse efficiency than maintaining a steady state speed, even if that steady state speed is fairly high, because ultimately you have to get up to it again anyway. So I think there were still some issues, but like I said, it wasn't really a surprise to me. It sort of validates that, yes, at 75 miles an hour, even in windy conditions, even with things like a grade or whatever, the Bolt EV is about as efficient as a performance Model 3 with the non aero cap, non aero wheels. So that's a pretty good stepping off point. I mean, I'm sure the efficiency for the Bolt EV drops even more once you go over 75 miles an hour. But I think that use case is very limited. Though, to be fair, even at that 75 miles an hour, we are getting passed on both the left and the right by people who are just, well, they drive the way they want to drive. So, anyway, I hope this was informative. Like I said, just to reiterate, my only reason in calling Bjorn out is because, I'd like to be able to promote the Bolt EV from a source that is trusted in other communities, because otherwise it just looks like, I'm promoting the vehicle I drive and I'm not actually giving, valid real world numbers. Well, this gives an opportunity for someone who's a more trusted source in the community to put those numbers out there. So maybe it gives people a little bit more of a valid buying option in terms of knowing what is available and what's not, and just being clear about how my car is different than certain vehicles. And obviously, your mileage will vary, but I think this will do a little bit in defusing some of the myths that I've seen perpetrated about the Bolt EV and how inefficient it is at typical freeway speeds. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And thank you for watching.